Welcome back, everyone. This is Austin Revel here at 2F by C Tactical. Coming back to you on YouTube finally after a couple weeks. Do apologize for the prolonged absence that was not planned. If you reference our earlier video, it was we got a YouTube strike on something from AS Designs from SHOT Show. We are unsure as to what exactly was wrong with that video, and of course our appeal was denied. Typical YouTube stuff. I know we're probably going to might get another strike for complaining about YouTube on YouTube. But with that being said, I just want to let you guys know that we are continuing to pump out content. We're going to fight this. We always do. And we have a bunch of stuff scheduled to go out this week through next week, and I'm going to keep pushing through. And I do want you to know we have a Rumble channel, 2F by C Tactical. Please go hit the like button, comment over there, subscribe, all the things on Rumble too. We simultaneously post both videos on YouTube and Rumble, so it's the same content you're having here. It just helps insulate us, and it allows us to post things that we can't post here for whatever reason with YouTube and their rules. We don't really need to do a deep dive into it. We're pretty aware that, there's the gun tubers having a hard time on YouTube these days. So please check out our Rumble channel. And if there's something here that you want us to cover in the future, please put a comment down below. And of course, always like, comment, subscribe to this video. So today we're going to dive into what's going on in the state of Virginia. And I wanted to just take a brief moment to thank Patriot Mobile and the USCCA, because they have helped sponsor this channel, and we are very appreciative to them. And I do also want to mention that a lot of the stuff that we talk about here in kind of short form, if you would like written content of it and more, like lots more, check out our news section on our website. I can't link our website down below because, again, YouTube rules. We do have our Facebook linked, which of course will lead you to our website if you go to our Facebook page. And definitely check out our news section, because there is so much going on in the world of 2A right now, whether it be laws, court cases, or even some changes in terms of the Federal Registry, in terms of how you determine users from the ATF. There's so much going on, and that's not even getting into the firearms themselves. So we try to keep you updated on all that. We have some fun firearm reviews coming up here pretty soon from Redacted Industries. Redacted Industries. Very excited to bring you those. Those are going to be really fun. But let's dive in today to the state of Virginia. So, what is going on in Virginia? Just to kind of back things up a little bit, Virginia had a sweep of the House, Senate, and governorship for the Democrats in 2025, part of the election in 2025. So that has kind of pushed gun control to the forefront. The last governor of Virginia, Glenn Youngkin, is term limited. A governor can only serve one term at a time. They can't do consecutive terms in Virginia. It's just the way that their articles are set up over there. So he had to be out, and Abigail Spanberger is in. And she was backed by every gun control group you could imagine. And she is force-feeding gun control bills down the state of Virginia. And we don't like to be political on this channel. It's not a left versus a right thing. It's a right versus wrong thing. We have called out Donald Trump when he's done things wrong, Pam Bondi when he's done something wrong. I've written extensively on our news section about many things that this administration has been at minimum wishy-washy on when it comes to the Second Amendment. So this isn't really a right or left thing. The Second Amendment is for all Americans. Doesn't matter who you are. If you're color, race, creed, sexual orientation, doesn't matter. A couple weeks ago, we heard about, protesters can't carry firearms. They absolutely can legally carry firearms. The Second Amendment protects that kind of action. You get to protest your government, and you get to be armed while doing so. Now, it doesn't protect other things like interfering with law enforcement action. It does not protect you from that. That is definitely a violation of the law, and that's where the individual with the ice went wrong. But it wasn't the carrying of the firearm itself. It was the actions he was doing otherwise. So I don't really care, right, left, or center, who you are. The 2A is for everybody, But what we're seeing is the nationalization of politics. And what do I mean by that? I mean that there aren't Wisconsin solutions, Minnesota solutions, South Dakota solutions. There's just party solutions, for lack of a better word. So when we look at, say, the state of Wisconsin, let's just take that for example because it's right next door to us here in Minnesota. It has a Democratic governor. It has a predominantly Republican House. But if it wasn't, if it was all one way or the other, the politics of that state would more than likely be run out of the national conventions, whether it be Republican or Democrat. It doesn't really matter what's best for the state, and seeing patchwork state policies, we're no longer seeing that. We're seeing mandates from the committees. And that's why Minnesota should be taking a look at what's going on in Virginia. So everything that is going on in Virginia, and I'm going to use my phone here because I want to make sure that I give you the proper bills. We've got 5 bills that we're looking at, 6 bills if we consider the one that hasn't proceeded yet. So we'll talk about the one that hasn't made it past the House. So the first one that hasn't made it past the House is the $500 suppressor tax bill. So far, that hasn't moved forward in the Virginia State House. It remains to be seen if it will. Right now, it looks like there's enough opposition. It may not, but that's never a guarantee. That was to raise the NFA tax to $500 on each suppressor, except the NFA tax would be applied to the state. It would be the first time the state ever collected a national tax, because technically it's the National Firearms Act. So it's a National Firearms Act tax, meaning federal tax. Somehow the state is going to try to collect that. I think constitutionally dubious at best. Of course, the whole NFA is unconstitutional as far as I'm concerned. So that so far hasn't moved forward. Now, what has, that's moving toward the Senate, is HB 21, which basically takes that Peaceful and Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, the PLCAA, which was passed in 2004 under the Bush administration with bipartisan support, including our past president, Joe Biden, I might add. It's opening up the firearms industry to being sued civilly for things they didn't even do. So a bank robber takes a firearm and uses it. Well, somehow Glock is now responsible for that, despite the fact Glock had nothing to do with it. They didn't hire the people had no association with Glock. That's what we're talking about. That would like making Ford civilly liable for every drunk driver in a Ford. That's absolutely ridiculous. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to pierce that PLCAA Act. And now so far, courts have, for the most part, stamped that out, especially the Supreme Court. We'll see how that goes. HB 40. Now, when I say HB, this is House Bill 40. We're talking about Virginia State House Bill 40s. These are all Virginia bills. These aren't federal bills. These are just state bills. That bans 80% receivers. So no more home-built firearms. You and I want to go home and be a gun enthusiast and make something. They're saying no. Also unconstitutional, our founders never had a prohibition in the historical tradition of Bruin that banned home-built firearms. We were all allowed to build things at home. Same reason why you and I can go build a car at home, and if we drive it on private property, we don't have to pass emission standards if we're in one of those states that require it, because we're allowed to build it. Doesn't matter if we're a certified mechanic or not. We get to go build it if we want to. Same thing applies to firearms. Unless there's criminal intent here, you don't get to ban that thing, especially when it's a constitutionally protected thing. So House Bill 110 basically makes it so you can't have a loaded firearm in your car. So I guess no more self-defense. If you're in your vehicle, it's just tough. I mean, we've seen what happened with roadblocks here in Minneapolis, for instance, where people swarm cars and stuff like that during mass protests. It can be very tense. We've seen road rage instances over the last, decades, several decades. I mean, many reasons why you might want to have a loaded firearm in your car. Also, you're your best first responder. Why wouldn't you? Just like you have a fire extinguisher, hopefully a med kit at home, all those things. It's the same thing. So they're saying that basically, no, you can't have one in your car. HB 871 makes it mandatory to have a gun lock on your gun, especially at home. That's, again, so what? Your firearms can't be used for self-defense anymore? We have to keep it all the ammunition, everything separate and everything locked up. I mean, come on, guys. The firearms, again, have to be readily accessible. Now, with that being said, that doesn't remove responsibility from the gun owner. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights has responsibility baked into it. We must be responsible with the rights, which is why it's beyond criminal when someone uses those rights to abuse, to harm someone else. Responsibility is something that we take the utmost respect for here at 2FYC, but that doesn't mean that the government can come mandate me what I can do with my constitutionally protected right. And then the big one, which is, let me make sure I have the right one here, I believe it's HB 217, and that is Virginia's assault weapons ban. Now, we're going to have another video on the what's going on in the state of New Mexico, which is even wilder than that. But House Bill 117 is a California kind of what I'm going to now call an old school flavor assault weapons ban. It's cosmetic features of a firearm, and of course they threw in the magazine ban of anything over 10 rounds, because that 11th round magically makes you an evil person somehow, some way. These are your typical telescoping stock, detachable magazine, pistol grips, barrel shrouds, bayonet lugs, threaded barrels, all those things that make something assault weapons, and it bans it outright. Which does make it interesting if they do pass that suppressor tax, while they'll ban things with threaded barrels, which basically makes the whole suppressor thing useless, because you can't put one on without a threaded barrel. That's beside the point. Another unconstitutional gun grab. And again, I say this as old flavor because New Mexico is doing a very different style assault weapons ban. And I'm using the word assault weapons as they're saying, not that what we're saying. They're doing not a cosmetic ban down in New Mexico, but what I would call a function ban, first of its kind in the nation. So something that we will definitely cover in a video here to come up. So with all this going through, though, and right now they have full control of this House, Senate, and executive branch of the governor mansion, there really doesn't appear to be any way that these bills can be stopped outside of courts, of course. If you're in Virginia and you're watching this video, please reach out to your representative. I'm going to put that phone number right down below, and stand up for whatever gun right groups you guys have in Virginia, as well as, of course, Gun Owners of America, FPC, Second Amendment Foundation, National Association for Gun Rights. If you're here in Minnesota, Minnesota Gun Owners Caucus, you should support all these guys because they're the ones fighting for you. They're the ones trying to keep our rights and regain ground. And I'm going to put a pin in this because a lot of our viewers are here from Minnesota. So why should I care what's going on in Virginia when I'm here in Minnesota? I'm just going to put this out here for all our Minnesota listeners. And then also make mention of this to every listener that's in any state that's purple or blue, specifically. That's not to say that gun control doesn't pass on Republicans, because it most certainly does. But when we're talking about specifically these types of bills, they tend to pass when Democrats are in charge. When it comes to the state of Minnesota, Governor Tim Walz has expressed support and want to do pretty much every single one of these bills. When we're talking now, he's not running for re-election in 2026. We will have a new governor in 2027. Unfortunately for us, the presumed frontrunner would be Amy Klobuchar. She has echoed every single one of these things as well. Her and Governor Walz have virtually no difference in policy. None. In fact, I would be hard-pressed to find any differences between them. If it comes to our senators, yes, Tina Smith is retiring, and we have Angie Craig and Peggy Flanagan running. Both of those people would back these in a heartbeat. They are not pro-gun individuals. Keith Ellison, our Attorney General, are you kidding me? Again, hates the firearm community. We've seen him sue Fleet Farm. We're seeing him go after Glock and many others over things that they have nothing to do with, and it's the crime in his own state that he can't get under control. This is not an anti-right or left tirade that I'm having right now. I'm just saying these are the realities. Politics have unfortunately become national. It isn't about state fits or state ideas or what would work best in individual states. It's about whatever the RNC or the DNC decides is what they're going to stand for is now rammed through in all the states. We used to be a federalist country where states made different decisions. Now, there is an exception to that. The Bill of Rights, you cannot make exceptions to. The 14th Amendment mandates that the Bill of Rights goes to all states and that all states must uphold it. So you don't get to play around with this. So this is where it really does break in this case. Now, but with that being said, if you're in Minnesota, you need to get out there and let your representatives know, your local representatives. Call the switchboard. When it comes to federally, there's a lot of people that want to pass these things federally. The usual suspects that we all know. So call your congressman or woman. It doesn't matter if they're a Democrat or Republican. Blow up their phones. They actually listen to this. They do. They get very nervous if the phone's ringing off the hook and people are telling all these people are telling them to do the same thing. Because guess what? They all want to keep their seat. It's not really about doing the right thing. It's about maintaining power. We kind of know this. Unfortunately, that's the reality. So again, please like, comment, subscribe on this video. Tune in for more because we're going to go into the New Mexico assault weapon ban, which is insane in and of itself. They're all insane, but this is the new way they're going to attack, and it has even greater implications. But blow up your congressman, woman when it comes to federally. Really blow it up on the state level. Absolutely let them know that you will not stand for these things, that the Second Amendment applies to everyone. We all have equal protection under the law. We also all have the same rights. It doesn't matter if you're in California, Hawaii, New Mexico, Texas, Georgia, or Alabama. It doesn't matter. We are all equal and we all have the same rights. Till next time, we'll see you then.